Hi, I'm Corrine. Thanks for joining me today. Today I thought I would share with you a 3-for-1 cards using die cut inlay technique. I've titled this Toucan Do It. I will include links to the products that I use in the description box below. A couple of tips I've used will be shared with you throughout the video, as well as if you stick around at the end there will be a tip that I used for correcting a mistake that I did. So let's get started. First, I die cut all of the pieces that I needed for the project. Then I used a stamping jig because I was wanting to make more than one and I wanted to make sure that my image was centered, and I was doing double stamping for a more solid color. And as you can see, I am using a dry eraser for a more solid image to press down. Next, I used my alcohol markers to color it in. And then I used my liquid glass on the eye and then set it aside to dry. Used the 3 die cuts from the Diagonal Stripe Slimline thin cuts, the colors of black, Sundance, and candy apple cardstock. I then used my White Daisy ink pad to stamp stitching from the February 2021 Stamp of the Month doodle borders. Here's my first tip. I used a scrap of paper to mask the corners so that it wouldn't run off the page or the vertical stitching. I then glued each stripe and adhered to the 3.5 by 8.5 card base using Tombow mono adhesive. Here's my next tip. I used a Cricut mat to hold the negative pieces so that they were in order and that they weren't getting lost. I then glued one color in every other opening with another color in the alternate openings. The next step, I used my block alphabet thin cuts using the letters that spelled out the words Toucan Do It! I again used my Cricut mat to line up the letters, making sure that they were touching each other, with starting with the first word from the left and then from the end going from the right, working my way to the left and centering the word do. I then used my painter's tape to hold the letters while I glued them and to place them on the card. I used a couple of stamping blocks to hold them down while it was drying. I then used some foam adhesive tape on the back of the toucans. Next, I removed the painter's tape slowly, being careful not to tear the lettering. I then adhered the toucan using some tweezers to place it on the card. I then folded it along the score line and flattened it with my bone folder. And there you have it. Toucan do it, and you can too. If you'd like to stick around, you can find out my mistake and how I fixed it, which is coming up next. Alright, so here is the mistake that I had happen. One of the stripes had shifted on me and so it wasn't sitting properly. So I used my undo adhesive remover and I was trying to get up that stripe and I was having a really tough time because that Tombow mono adhesive is really strong. So I was using the undo and my Cricut spatula to get it up, and once I did get it up, it didn't wreck the card, but it did wreck that stripe. So I took that stripe and I cut out a strip with my paper trimmer and I was lining it up to make sure it was the same size as the stripe and trimmed it off, and then I used my scissors to cut the angle, and then I had a new stripe. Alright, also another tip, put your undo in the fridge so that it doesn't dry out. I had a whole bottle dry out on me. Anyways, thank you for watching. Here are a couple of previous videos I've done that you may like to visit. Thank you for spending time with me. If you like this video, please click on the like button below and be sure to subscribe to see more of my videos. If you wish to be notified when I release new videos, be sure to ring the bell beside the subscribe button. Remember, keep memories, celebrate life.